Alright, let's do it. Something that really bothered me this week is something that always seems to be a problem in some way, shape, or form on TNA shows. The time management issue is just not going away, and I've been noticing this a lot more than usual lately. For me, shows like this one are a good example of why Vince Russo needs an editor, because the guy just doesn't seem to know how to prioritize. You know, certain things that are really important don't get the time they need, while other things that seem like they're completely pointless get way too much. You know, on the show this week, we had a bunch of skits with JB and Mick Foley talking about the broken tweak and tweet picture, interrogating Lethal Consequences, Motor City Machine Guns, and then finally just checking the security tape, which apparently had been there the whole time. Now, they actually gave quite a lot of time to this. And it's not that the skits weren't entertaining. I found them very entertaining. But were they necessary? Not really. Alright, instead of going through all that, why not just start the show with Foley having already checked the camera footage, which is what he should have just done in the first place. Alright, that's all you needed. And then look how much time you just freed up. And that's time that you could have used for a lot of other things. For example, you had 3 title matches on this show, and none of them got any hype whatsoever. I don't think all of them were even announced before they happened. Okay, with all that extra time, you could have hyped up the X Division title match, or the tag team title match, or the women's tag team title match. Or you could have done something that you really should have done. You needed a segment where Taylor Wilde and Sarita were officially presented with their new title belts. Now, I know that doesn't sound very important, but it is. Remember the first Impact after Bound for Glory 07? They had a segment where they brought out Gail Kim, and they officially presented her with the Knockout Championship belt. Okay, it's in my favorites. Go watch it. Now, they really made an effort to put over how deserving a champion she was and what the title meant to her, and because of that, it made the new title, and by extension the new women's division, look like a really big deal. Now compare that to what they did with the Knockout Tag Team titles. Alright, the final round of the tournament was the opening match on a B pay-per-view. It hardly got any time at all, and afterward it was like, okay, here's your belts. Nope, move along now, we got another match in a minute. And then on Impact, Taylor and Sarita didn't get the presentation segment that Gail got. They didn't get to cut a promo. They didn't get anything. They just came out and wrestled a match. So the Knockout Tag Team titles really don't look that important right now. And it's because of stuff like this. And also, if I could go back to the time management thing for just a second here, Bobby Lashley versus Jethro Holiday. Why was this on the show? If you want to have Lashley's Impact Wrestling debut, that's fine. But your biggest pay-per-view of the year is coming up next month. This is the wrong time to have Lashley come out and squash some random jobber. Okay, any other time of the year it's fine, but not right now. If it's not somehow related to hyping Bound for Glory, I don't want to see it. If you've got Lashley facing Samoa Joe at Bound for Glory, he should be doing something with Samoa Joe, not Jethro Holiday. Now, stuff about this show that I did like. The Sting AJ segment was dynamite. I love that they came out and said in no uncertain terms that what happened at No Surrender was a passing of the torch. Sting basically stepped aside for AJ. They made this very clear. So they can't take it back now. So Sting's spot is now AJ's spot. And I know I've had some bad things to say about Sting recently. But after this, I think people like Kevin Nash and Booker T and Scott Steiner should take a lesson from this guy. Matt Morgan and Hernandez. These guys are getting more over every week, and that's in no small part due to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle has given a huge rub to both of these guys. Every time he locks up with Hernandez, he lets Hernandez tear him apart. And even more subtle things, like letting Matt Morgan play mind games with him, or just like mentioning those guys in promos. You know, stuff like that really does a lot to elevate these guys in the eyes of the fans. The Foley Abyss thing. Like I said, there was a lot of wasted time that led up to this, and the main event was a nothing match, but the angle after the match was something to talk about. Abyss was just bleeding like a faucet. I mean, that was a sick amount of blood, and I don't know anyone other than Mick Foley who can take something so trivial like the tweak and tweet picture getting broken and then turn it into something so serious, so fast, and make it work. And after the beating he gave Abyss, that feud could have a ton of heat behind it. And speaking of savage beatings, Alyssa Flash, Hamada, no DQ, book that match right now, TNA writers. Seriously, I couldn't be happier about Alyssa finally getting a push. I mean, she basically got pissed off that at first everyone was ignoring her in favor of Sarita, and now suddenly Hamada's the flavor of the month now with her getting an interview when she doesn't even speak English. And she beat the piss out of Hamada too. It was awesome. I can't even imagine the match those two are going to have. I just hope this won't put the kibosh on Alyssa's possible feud with Kong, because they've been teasing a Kong-Saeed breakup, and if Saeed gets unmasked, if and when those women turn on each other, that angle could be hot as hell. So hopefully this feud won't put a stop to that one. And the best part of the show by a mile, Mick Foley pointing out how absolutely horrid the Motor City Machine Guns entrance music is. I've been saying this for a year and a half now, alright? That music is awful. It doesn't fit them at all. And the tease that they might be getting new music soon, thank you. Thank you, Mick Foley. Thank you. Also, we had some good wrestling. We had Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and Homicide in a triple threat. They had a really good match. The women's tag team title match was good as well. De Niro and Suicide was a lot of fun, even though the no DQ gimmick was really unnecessary. I mean, those two are blasting through the gimmicks so fast that a month from now there's going to be nowhere left for this feud to go. But you know, all three of them good matches, but they need to hype these things up better. Bottom line, if you just throw a title match out there with no promotion, it's not going to draw. So, a problematic show this week, but still a good show. You know, there's definitely some stuff I'm looking forward to. Foley and Abyss, Alyssa Hamada for sure. So, I guess that's all for this week. Kind of a shorter video than usual for me, but, you know, they can't all be 11 minutes. So, everybody take care. Check out QCW Radio on the Angry Marks Podcast Network every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. And that'll be it. See ya.